On April 10, 1912, the RMS Titanic embarked on her maiden voyage, heralded as unsinkable, a pinnacle of engineering and luxury. Yet, beneath the veneer of invincibility, seeds of disaster were already sown. Captain Edward Smith, a seasoned commander on his final voyage before retirement, felt the unspoken pressure to make good time across the Atlantic. While not a race, arriving ahead of schedule or even promptly was a point of pride and an expectation for such a prestigious liner. This subtle impetus for speed, coupled with the ship's immense power, contributed to the fateful velocity maintained in dangerous waters. As the Titanic steamed westward, it entered an area of the Atlantic known for icebergs, but critically, the weather conditions were unusually deceptive. The sea was extraordinarily calm, flat as glass, without the typical waves that would break against ice, revealing its presence through white foam at the base. This mirror-like surface, combined with a moonless night, made the colossal icebergs virtually invisible to the naked eye until the last possible moment. The absence of whitecaps, normally a telltale sign of obstacles, tragically masked the immediate danger ahead, lulling both crew and passengers into a false sense of security. The Titanic's wireless operators received no fewer than 6 ice warnings throughout the day on April 14. These crucial messages, originating from other vessels in the vicinity, indicated large fields of ice directly in the Titanic's path. However, not all of these warnings reached the bridge, or if they did, their urgency was not fully appreciated amidst the flurry of passenger telegrams being sent. A critical warning from the SS Mesaba, detailing a large ice field, never reached Captain Smith directly, highlighting a fatal flaw in communication protocols and the oversight of prioritizing commercial messages over safety alerts. Adding to the string of unfortunate circumstances was a simple, yet profoundly impactful, oversight: the lookout's binoculars were missing. Prior to departure, a last-minute crew change meant the key to the locker containing the ship's binoculars was unavailable. The lookouts, Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee, were therefore forced to rely solely on their unaided vision in the freezing, moonless night. Had they possessed the binoculars, it's plausible they might have spotted the iceberg even a few minutes earlier. Those vital extra moments could have allowed the Titanic to alter course sufficiently, or reduce speed enough, to avert the catastrophic collision. Beyond the human element, fundamental material weaknesses played a significant role. Metallurgical analysis of recovered sections of the Titanic's hull revealed that the steel used in its construction was not of the highest quality by modern standards. Specifically, it contained high levels of sulfur, which rendered it brittle at the near-freezing temperatures of the North Atlantic. Instead of bending or deforming upon impact, the steel fractured like pottery, creating 6 narrow but lengthy gashes along the starboard side. This inherent material flaw amplified the damage from what might have otherwise been a glancing blow, accelerating the ship's demise. Further compromising the hull's integrity were the iron rivets used, particularly in the forward sections of the ship where the impact occurred. While the central sections of the hull used stronger steel rivets, the bow and stern sections, where the plates curved more acutely, required hand-applied iron rivets. These iron rivets, crucial for binding the hull plates together, were found to contain high levels of slag, making them brittle and prone to shearing. Upon impact, many of these rivets simply popped out or broke, allowing the hull plates to separate and water to flood in, rather than holding firm against the immense pressure. The Titanic was famously divided into 16 watertight compartments by bulkheads, a design feature that contributed to its unsinkable reputation. However, this design had a critical flaw: the bulkheads did not extend high enough. While they reached well above the waterline under normal conditions, they topped out at E-deck, allowing water to spill over the top of the flooded compartments as the bow sank deeper. As one compartment filled, the ship's trim changed, allowing water to cascade into the next compartment over the top of the bulkhead. This design error effectively negated the watertight barrier, dooming the ship. Perhaps the most tragic and well-known failing was the severe inadequacy of lifeboats. Despite being designed to carry 64 lifeboats, the Titanic set sail with only 20, enough for just 1,178 people, barely half of the 2,224 passengers and crew on board. This decision, driven by outdated regulations and aesthetic concerns to avoid cluttering the deck, led directly to a catastrophic loss of life. Even among those 20, many were launched only partially full due to confusion, a lack of training, and the urgency of the moment. The stark reality was that the ship, deemed unsinkable, was utterly unprepared for mass evacuation. The sinking of the Titanic was not the result of a single, isolated incident, but rather a devastating convergence of multiple, interconnected failures. From the human pressures for speed and overlooked warnings to the fundamental material weaknesses of brittle steel and weak rivets, and critical design flaws in the bulkheads and lifeboat provision, each factor compounded the others. The unsinkable ship was brought down by a perfect storm of environmental conditions, human error, and engineering limitations of its era. The tragedy forced profound changes in maritime safety regulations, ensuring that such a confluence of oversights would, hopefully, never occur again.